Wow, we're Roe versus Wade. Finally! Come on, that deserves a big round of applause. But more importantly, we have one more mess that we have to deal with in Minnesota, and that's Doe versus Gomez. Who knows about that? That's our version of Roe versus Wade. We have to get rid of that. So the next governor is going to have the opportunity to appoint 4 state Supreme Court justices. I will only appoint originalist constitutionalists to that office that will go in there and overturn Doe versus Gomez. And we can get rid of taxpayer-funded abortions performed by Planned Parenthood in the state of Minnesota. Life begins at conception and ends at natural death. And I'm sick and tired of the left using abortion as a tool within our society. I'm tired of the normalization of it. I'm tired of Hollywood celebrities talking about how great it is because it got them their next big role. That is a human life. And all of the nonsense that Tim Walz has been putting on social media or this all entire week, abortion is not health care. Let's get that under control. And nor is your force of the COVID vaccine health care either. That's why I made my city a health sanctuary city in the city of Lexington, where I'm the mayor of. We're the only city in the entire state to be a freedom for your health. Meaning, our children were never masked in schools. Centennial School District never had masks on our children. Employers were not able to terminate you from working at their company because you refused the vaccine. That's what we did. We stood up for your health freedoms and your rights in my community, and that's what I will do as your governor in just a few months from now when I win in November. A little bit about me. This is the first time I've ever been here because these meetings actually happen to fall on the same nights that I have my council meetings. And one of the commitments that I made to my community was I will not step away from my role as mayor unless I absolutely have to. And obviously, tonight is one of those nights I have to, because it's important for me to address as many Minnesotans as possible. We did have some important items on the agenda, but that's okay. I have a very capable vice mayor who's going to take over for me and run the city when I'm the next governor of Minnesota. But I'm here tonight to be with you. I started my journey actually just across the bridge down the road in the city of Anoka in law enforcement. That's what I thought I'd be doing my entire life until I had a back injury, which took me out of that profession. That was about 15 years ago, and I've been a small business owner ever since. And in 2016, my wife told me to stop complaining to the TV and get off the couch and run for office. That's what I did, and now I'm here trying to run for governor. Wow. This is something I never envisioned myself doing, but it's time that we elect outsiders to this office. People who are not beholden to special interest groups, the millionaires, the billionaires, the lobbyists, the power brokers. Those people have tried to buy their way into my campaign. I've kicked them all out because this is about we the people, not about them anymore. And let's face an honest truth, we're never going to save our nation in Washington, D.C., no matter how much they try to tell you that. That toilet is clogged and it cannot be flushed. Same thing with St. Paul, and that's why I did not take money from those organizations or those groups, and it's important. So I'm going to represent you as your governor. I'm going to give you a pathway to communicate with me. We're going to have a phenomenal administration, but more importantly, on day one, we're going to start going after those teachers' unions, get indoctrination, critical race theory, the social emotional learning, the hypersexualization, the genderism garbage out of our classroom, and take our schools back and save our children. Men cannot be women, women cannot be men, boys cannot be girls, and girls cannot be boys. No matter what the left tries to tell you, there are only 2 genders. But more importantly, homeschool, school choice, STEM schools, magnet schools, charter schools, and yes, that money will follow your students, and we will hold the teachers' unions accountable. So I'm going to ask for the House and the Senate to give me legislation to sign to start getting that in order and start taking our schools back. And then when we're done with that, law and order will come back to the state of Minnesota. We will have police again. We will hold the judges and the prosecutors accountable for the nonsense they've been allowing to occur for the last 2 years. And we will investigate the crap that Tim Walz has done to us, not only with COVID, but the way he's treated our police department and our justice system, because it's criminal. Never in my life did I ever envision that we would have felons, especially violent felons, become the new heroes. What's next? Is Disney going to write a Marvel movie about felon superheroes? Come on. By the way, I'm so glad that Disney's been caught going woke, because President Trump said it best: you go woke, you go broke. That's what's happening today. And I will Ron DeSantis, Minnesota. I can guarantee that. I will use the bully pulpit of that office to hold these people accountable. We will have the best police again in the state of Minnesota. We will have community policing. We will recruit officers. We will have law and order. Now I'm going to segue into the big topic. Who here feels like Tim Walz has been running around stealing that change from your cup holders in your car in the middle of the night? Because I certainly, as a business owner, I do. I do. That money belongs to the taxpayers. Not in the form of Walz checks where he's trying to buy votes for $1,000 per Minnesotan. The actual people who paid into the income tax system. I know all of that money has not been collected yet, but there's a good possibility it will be in January when I take office. And if all of that is collected, I'm proposing $4,000 to $6,000 in the tax return back to you, the taxpayers, direct payment to your bank account, tax-free. Because it belongs to the taxpayers. Then we're going to use the rest of that money and the federal money that's all banked up from the COVID crap. And we're going to use that to get rid of Social Security tax, long-term tax cuts, cut your income tax down, the death tax. We're going to start cutting regulations and the burdens that have been put on Minnesotans and small business owners for far too long. We're going to get the size of Minnesota government under control. We're going to hold the Met Council responsible for the boondoggle after boondoggle that they create for us, because I have to deal with them as a mayor. They're a terrible organization, and I will not appoint a single human being to sit on that commission whatsoever. We will shut the Met Council down. And not only that, with government, I also appoint the commissioners, and they're going to be there to do the job of the people. That's why I owe no favors to anybody, which means no commissioner will be appointed because they donated to my campaign. They're going to be there to close departments down, lay off state employees because we have entirely way too many, and we're going to shrink government, and we're going to start getting the fraud, waste, and abuse under control with the help of Ryan Wilson, because he's going to be our next state auditor. By the way, if you want a White Claw, go vote for Julie Blah, and she'll definitely get you one. Why didn't you make a White Claw joke, by the way, man? You have that. That's all yours. Check out the Alpha News story if you didn't watch it. We have a lot of work to do, and one important thing I want you to walk away with tonight. Who here hates omnibus bills? For the last 15 months, I'm the only governor candidate that has said, I refuse to sign one single omnibus bill as your governor. They are unconstitutional in the state of Minnesota because they violate the single subject clause. So the House and the Senate can give me 4,000 bills. I really don't care. We will not have these 2,000-page bills filled with garbage, because that's why we get stuck with the sick tax in the state of Minnesota that was supposed to go away in 2019. Republican state senator Scott Jensen shoved an amendment in the Health and Human Services bill to keep state sick tax permanent at 1.8% forever. Now he wants to run to be your governor. That's why we have voting problems in the state of Minnesota with election fraud for our absentee balloting, because House File 3429 was passed through an omnibus bill that took our absentee balloting and made it unregulated and allowed anybody for any reason to vote absentee. That also gave healthcare workers that were in nursing homes and family homes and things like that to vote for your elders, to vote for people who were put in nursing homes, to vote and cast a ballot for you. That also gave the ability for Secretary of State Steve Simon to get rid of the signature verification on absentee ballots. That's why you heard the mess about ballots coming into counties that didn't have folds in them. What did the politicians get out of it? More money in the political contribution refund program. I am tired of it. It is time for accountability in the state of Minnesota. And I will give you accountability as your next governor, because we will audit COVID. We will audit nursing home deaths. We will audit the healthcare fraud that took place during COVID? All of the money given to the hospitals. Why did they use remdesivir and ventilators as their COVID protocol instead of monoclonal antibodies and ivermectin? It makes no sense. Jan Malcolm should have been fired a long time ago, and Fauci should be put in prison. So I want to take some questions, but I need to make one last point very clear. I am not running for myself. I am not running for any sort of name ID or to build my profile. I could care less about any of that. And I'm definitely not running for the money. That's why since day one I've pledged to donate my salary as your next governor. We don't take our state back. We are doomed. It's been since 1956 since we've had Republican candidates for governor. I mean, not since governor, I mean since it's been a full Republican state. We will win this November with the right candidate. I have the endorsement from the Hmong American Leadership Council that represents every Hmong American in Minnesota, the Hmong veterans, Somali conservatives. I'm about to get the endorsement of the Republican National Hispanic Caucus as well. A lot of different endorsements and people have supported me throughout this entire campaign. And we'll be making this stuff public very soon. So I am electable, right? I might sound like a crazy, strong conservative, but I can give the same speech anywhere in the state of Minnesota, even in downtown Minneapolis on Broadway and Penn. So let's do some questions, and let's win in November, and let's fire Tim Walz, and let's take our state back. Yes.
I was in the hospital January 4th with COVID. My oxygen level was 74, which is terrible. I was dying. 3 days, the first 2 days they were talking that they wanted to put me on a ventilator. I said no. Then my husband brought me ivermectin, of course secretly, and my ventilator went down and down. I was breathing on my own. I left 6 days later, from death to going home. I just wanted everybody to know it worked for me.
God bless your husband. And that's the type of stuff that we have to look at, because as far as I'm concerned, Jan Malcolm and Tim Walz were accessories to murder. You can't take a common used medical procedure or prescription such as ivermectin and throw it out like it's black magic. That's like saying Advil doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
That is nonsense. Who else has a question for me?
Back there, stand up, shout
Terry.
out.
Okay, it is the prerogative of the cities, it's the prerogative of the cities and the counties whether or not they want to use the Dominion ESNS and Smart machines. As the mayor of Lexington, what is your opinion on using the Dominion type machines for elections?
Thank you for asking that question. I knew you would. I'm going to be the first city, and this is not because I'm running for governor. I would do it anyways because I know it's corrupt. I don't trust technology. We are going to remove the voting machines from the city of Lexington. I would be talking about that tonight at my meeting, but I'm here, so we're going to do it 2 weeks from today. But by the first meeting in June, we should have an ordinance passed to remove electronic balloting machines from our city. So that means when I'm done with that, you get on the rest of your cities and your county boards and force them to remove the machines as well. Because if I can do it, they can do it. And remember, you can always unseat them, so that's why I beg people to run for local office. Because I've been to a school board meeting and I'm a proud terrorist just like you. Mary, do we have time for one more or two more?
We got a couple minutes. Go ahead, Jackie.
Have you given any thoughts on how we can preserve our natural farmlands and encourage our farmers to keep farming rather than selling their land? And two, have you given any thoughts on getting our leases back for our natural resources and other forms of energy in our state?
Great question. Yeah, day one, we're going to get rid of that executive order. It was about farming and about giving our farmers their land back and the ability for them to farm effectively again, and about land leases for natural resources, for those who didn't hear. So Tim Walz signed an executive order using rulemaking for California emission standards in the state of Minnesota. So that means he wants our farmers to buy electric tractors. Well, for those people who know farming, you can't combine 24 hours a day on an electric tractor. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we're going to get rid of that executive order that he signed. We're going to give our farmers back their land. We're going to get rid of the burdens that have been placed on them through the Department of Natural Resources, the Pollution Control Agency, and I am going to propose, after we audit the entire state of Minnesota for all the fraud, waste, and abuse and the garbage that has been going on for years, that we eliminate the tax on our family farms. That has to be done. And as far as the mining leases, I am going to sign them anyways. We will take the land back. We will use the 10th Amendment of states' rights. And I will sign mining permits, and I will allow our mining community to get back to work in the state of Minnesota. And that is why I received the endorsement of Congressman Paul Gosar from Arizona, who co-chairs the Department of Natural Resources Committee in Congress. The man is an expert on mining because he's from the state of Arizona. Arizona is a big mining state, and he's going to help me get the state of Minnesota back on track. Is that it? Well, God bless everybody. For those that are going to the state convention, you really wanted it. One more, sorry.
I just have one question. I'm a delegate, plus I'm an election judge. We use paper ballots here. So why are we using electronic stuff down in Rochester? Good question.
Yep.
Time is one thing. Go
It's
ahead.
faster. Time is one thing, right? Because the permit or the contract they have expires at midnight or something on Saturday. I don't trust.
We have to be out at that time in order to.
I don't trust the clickers because there's no way to audit it, right? So I don't know why they didn't do Scantron, fill in the bubble. There's only a little bit more money. But the delegates are going to decide what they want to do, whether they want to use the clickers or they want to do paper. Here's one thing that might happen with paper. We might leave with a no endorsement, and by no way do I support the hand clickers. But if we leave with a no endorsement, then that means that we're going to have a very contested primary, just to let you know. So, if we can do the paper, I'm all in on the paper, okay? But just to let you know, for those delegates that are going to be there, be prepared to never go to bed until there's a nominated candidate on Saturday. Just to let you know, and I'll be up with you. But you will not be able to go back to your hotel rooms and go to sleep until there is a nomination. So if you're all in, I'm all in. So God bless all of you. Let's do it. Let's win. Let's fire Tim Walz. Let's save the state. And if you just vote for me on your first round, then it'll just be done and over with, and we'll have a governor. Let's take the state of Minnesota back. Thank you, Mary.